Breaking news today.
Please subscribe and then check notification box to get all breaking news alerts.
Breaking. Trump's doing IT again. He's savage. America first. During Barack Obama's presidency, he did all that he could to compromise America's sovereignty and weaken our country with disgusting policies that favored our enemies around the world. Not only did Obama allow floods of refugees and illegal immigrants to swarm over our borders in an attempt to fundamentally transform America, but he also paid Muslim countries to hate us with exorbitant foreign aid. Now, after 8 years of witnessing Obama's disgusting policies ruin our nation, President Trump is in charge and is stopping what his predecessor did in finally putting America first. Before the end of 2017, the left and the majority of Muslim world lost their minds when President Trump formally recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and pledged he would move the United States Embassy to that location. Predictably, the left went into a meltdown, not to mention the Muslim world, promising more bloodshed and attacks on the small nation. Soon after the announcement, the United Nations, who has a long history of animosity toward Israel, voted overwhelmingly to reject Trump's recognition of Israel's capital. Soon after the United Nations cast this disrespectful vote, President Trump took immediate action and withheld $285 million, the most significant budget cut in UN history, and that is not all. Just a few days into the new year, Trump is ensuring that those who disrespect the United States and our ally Israel, they will no longer receive a dime from us, and next on the chopping block is Palestine. For years, Palestine has been on the government dole while they pledged to harm Americans and the Israeli people. Also, what has made it worse is that for the last 8 years, leftist propaganda has many young people sympathize with the Palestinian regime instead of realizing the harm these people have caused for decades. Finally, after years of Israel being pushed aside and treated poorly by the Obama administration, President Trump is taking a stand against Palestine in a big way. Earlier today, Trump took to Twitter and announced that he might cease all foreign aid to Palestine until they move forward with working towards peace with Israel, and you can bet that the Muslim world is not happy. Here is more from Associated Press. Trump infuriated Palestinians and Muslims across the Middle East when he announced late last year that the U.S. would consider Jerusalem the capital of Israel and move its embassy there, upending decades of U.S. policy and igniting protests. While the Palestinians haven't closed the door to a potential deal with Israel, Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas said the announcement had destroyed Trump's credibility as a Mideast peace broker, calling the decision a declaration of withdrawal from the role it has played in the peace process. Senior Palestinian leader Hanan Ashrawi said in a statement Wednesday that Trump had single-handedly destroyed the very foundations of peace with his Jerusalem declaration. Tuesday's tweets are a tacit admission by Trump that his decision to move the U.S. Embassy in Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem has thrown a wrench into his administration's plans to restart the peace process between Israelis and Palestinians, which he had dubbed the ultimate deal. Trump tasked son-in-law Jared Kushner with restarting the effort, and brought his former attorney, Jason Greenblatt, into the White House to lead the negotiations. Trump's Mideast peace team had held meetings with Israeli, Palestinian and Arab leaders for nearly a year ahead of an expected peace proposal. But by recognizing Israel's claim to Jerusalem, Trump was seen by the Palestinians as siding with Israel on the most sensitive issue in the conflict. The Palestinians seek East Jerusalem, which Israel captured in 1967, for their capital. Trump said his decision merely recognized the reality that Jerusalem already serves as Israel's capital and wasn't meant to prejudge the final borders of the city. In his tweets, Trump argued his decision had taken Jerusalem, the toughest part of the negotiation, off the table, but Israel, for that, would have had to pay more. When Trump declared Jerusalem to be Israel's capital, he insisted, counterintuitively, that the move would improve, not hurt, prospects for clinching a peace deal. In the days after the decision, Trump administration officials said the strategy was based on the notion that Israel had lost faith in the U.S. as a committed partner during the Obama administration. With trust in Washington restored, Benjamin Netanyahu's government would be more inclined going forward to make tough concessions that would ultimately be needed for a peace deal, the U.S. officials argued at the time, and Israeli officials quietly indicated that they could potentially do so. No one spelled out, however, what the Palestinians would receive in return. Trump on Tuesday also issued a threat to cut off foreign aid dollars to an unspecified list of countries that don't reciprocate. In all honesty, there is no reason why the American taxpayer should have to hand over their hard-earned money to countries that seek to destroy us. There is no doubt that the vast majority of the world would love to see peace in the Middle East, but if the Palestine government is not willing to make those steps forward, then they should not receive any more aid. Our country is debt up to our eyeballs, and it is the time that we stop sending money to countries that are not willing to compromise for peace. Maybe now this will push Palestine and other Muslim nations to take us seriously and begin to move forward with peace talks with Israel.